Let's have a look at a couple of ways to create line objects. Essentially up here there is a tool below the lathe tool called the create line. When you create a line, it's defined by at least one brush stroke. For instance, you can draw one something like this, and in this case it's moved the curve. As you saw, it was kind of zigzaggy initially. When you do a second line, that second line will create a thickness control. This indicates basically how fat that line should be. You can do a third line there, and on the other end perhaps to indicate how small it gets to the other side. So let me go and backtrack that, undo this, and do a couple of ways to use that. You can draw a line like this, and then say, okay, I need it initially this big, and then at the end this small. This is great for creating hooks and teeth and claws. And notice this second and third line, they don't really have to be at the beginning or at the end. Wherever they are, that second line will dictate the size of the line path. Also, it doesn't matter what the curve really, the shape of it really looks like, only the starting point to the end point. So for instance, if you undo this and you create a straight line like this, that's how big it is. But also if you create a weird line like this and you come back to about the same point, it will still be the same size because it's really only looking from the start to the end point, and anything in between really doesn't matter. Now when you create curves like these, let me create one more. Let's say you wanted to actually make this more of a perfect circle or a part of an ellipse. There's a couple of ways to fix this curve. You can right click it to edit the curve, and you see the cursor changes to where you can actually use this tool, which is to draw details, to modify that curve. So you can actually go and fix it or modify it, or make it worse potentially. You can use Shift S or S to slowly smooth it, or Shift S to go faster. There's a couple of other editing tools. You see the smooth on the curve right now. There's a couple of ways to say force it onto a semicircle or like a circle arc. Do that. And that's often really a great way to get started with making this a great claw. For instance, if I right click to get out of the editing mode from that curve, and or let's just start all over again, and I'm gonna draw a curve and say I want it about this much, and I want it this way and this pointy at the end, but then right click that curve to edit it and go and force it on a circle arc. There you go, nice claw. So that's an idea of how to start creating curves. And of course there's many types of curve or line objects that you can imagine using in your web graphics or in your 3D models. Right click when you're done with the curve, right click again when you're done with the model. And now if there's only one model, it will probably still have it selected. You can select it here on the side where the groups are. You can select outside of it to deselect as well. There's a couple of ways to work around that. And let's say, for instance, I wanted to draw another line, and I'm just going to draw the line here and do this, a little point at the end. Hit the space bar when you're done with this object so you can create another one. Size, new size, another one. Oops, that one went wrong. Let's put it this way. Draw another line here and a small tip here. And then you can merge the whole thing. And quick merge will merge all these objects into a single mesh. It looks kind of yucky at first, but if you use Shift S or S again to smooth it a few times, hit it a few times, you'll get a beautiful 3D looking, beautiful transitions on those meshes.